Welcome back to my Vision News. Two news stories. First one is a battlefield update from southern Tigray, where TDF has lost large territories. Frontline was in Wollo. From Wollo, it was pushed into southern Tigray. Tigray forces lost Vaja, Temoga, Alamata, Koram, and ENDF Amhara forces, they were trying to take control of Maychew and Mehoni, around 30 kilometers away from Koram, between Koram and Makele. We have an update for you. Secondly, viewers, Ethiopian government today announced to commemorate TPLF's attack, TDF's attack on Northern Command, which happened on the 3rd of November 2020. We will never forget day is going to be commemorated by Ethiopian government. Firstly, viewers, the southern Tigray, Raya, where TDF has lost large territories, Tigray forces were in North Wollo. When the third round of fighting started, TDF managed to enter North Wollo. It took control of Kobo, Robit, Gobiye. And back then, Tadase Varade, Tigray military chief, said that Tigray forces were in a position to capture Buldia. Then TDF decided to withdraw. Under pressure, TDF had to retreat from Wollo. TDF retreated from Wollo to southern Tigray, but Amhara forces, Ethiopian National Defense Force, they pursued Tigray forces. They entered southern Tigray, and TDF lost towns of Tigray like Vaja, Temoga, Alamata, Koram. On this front, there is no Eritrean military. On southern front, only Ethiopian National Defense Force, Ethiopian Federal Forces, and Amhara forces are fighting. Amhara militias as well. East Amhara Fano is fighting on this front. By the way, as we have been discussing in previous videos too, Amhara forces, special forces, are now fighting on front lines in this third round of fighting. And they were trained by Eritrean military. Eritrean military trained Amhara special forces in Eritrea and in Amhara region as well. And on Eritrea, Tigray border front lines as well, Amhara forces are fighting. So either they entered Eritrea through western Tigray, through Volkait, or they were already in Eritrea as they were being trained there. And on southern Tigray front, Raya front, also there is presence of Amhara forces, Ethiopian National Defense Force, no Eritrean military here. TDF lost Alamata Koram. It tried to defend Alamata Koram, but it did not fight inside Koram Alamata. No urban combat. It withdrew towards Maychew and Mehoni. So front lines were close to Maychew and Mehoni. Though Getachew said, I think 3 days ago, that front line was near Koram, but it wasn't near Koram. Front lines were near Maychew and Mehoni. Maychew is on A2 highway between Koram and Makele. Mehoni is to the east of Maychew. Here, very close to Maychew and Mehoni is a long chain of mountains. Tigray forces are in control of this long chain of mountains. Ethiopian Federal Forces and Amhara regional forces, they managed to reach close to Maychew and Mehoni several days ago. But they were unable to take full control of the two places, Maychew and Mehoni. Why? Because on high places very close to Maychew, to the north, TDF is positioned on mountain tops, and from where TDF is firing. It is difficult for Ethiopian National Defense Force to take complete control of Maychew and Mehoni. Reportedly, Ethiopian Federal Forces and Amhara forces, they have managed to reach close to Maychew. Some say they have entered Maychew and Mehoni. But problem is that strategic areas, strategic places on this front are under TDF control. So that is why it's like Abala front. You know that Abala town is under the control of Eritrean military, Afar militia members. But to the west of Abala, mountaintops, high places under TDF control. And for months, I would say, for around 3 months, uh, more than 2 months, Eritrean military, Afars, they've been trying to climb the mountains to move towards Mekelle. The shortest advance towards Mekelle is from Abala, from all fronts. But they could not. Why? Because strategic places are under TDF control. Same is happening here on Maychew and Mehoni fronts, that the two towns are deserted. People have largely withdrawn from Maychew Mehoni because fighting going on for days close to both towns. Maychew, large scale displacements. Tigray forces not fighting in the towns. They are on top of mountains to the north of Maychew Mehoni. So ENDF, not EDF, ENDF Amhara forces, they have managed to enter Maychew, but still they are unable to hold the two towns, Maychew Mehoni. Why? Because from the top TDF is firing. So this is the position on this front, volatile front. Strategic places on this front are under TDF control, though we could see ENDF Amhara forces in Maychew Mehoni. We could see pictures as well. But it would be difficult for them to advance from Maychew Mehoni towards Mekelle as long as TDF is on top of mountains. It's difficult for them to take complete control of Maychew as well. Why? Because, as I said earlier, TDF is in a strong position strategically here on this front. But in terms of territorial advance, yes, ENDF Amhara forces, they have managed to reach Maychew Mehoni from Korup. Around 25-30 kilometer long area has been taken by ENDF and Amhara forces. They have managed to reach close to Maychew Mehoni. Secondly, viewers, it was the 3rd of November 2020 when Tigray forces attacked Ethiopian Army's northern command bases in Tigray. Several bases were attacked. And Ethiopian and Eritrean governments are of this view. Their position is that the war started on the 3rd of November. Tigray forces started the war by launching attacks on ENDF's northern command. The purpose of the attack was to topple Addis Ababa government, federal government, and then Eritrean government. Tigray denies. Tigray says that ENDF, EDF, Isaias Afwerki, Abiy, they were already preparing for war. And Tigray's attack on Northern Command was a preemptive attack. The two sides have conflicting positions about the attack which happened on ENDF Northern Command on 3rd of November. Now, Ethiopian government is going to commemorate this attack on ENDF's Northern Command in coming days. We will never forget. Day is going to be commemorated. Today, Ethiopian Communication Ministry announced that sacrifices of Ethiopian National Defense Force will be remembered, will be commemorated on the 24th of October, Ethiopian calendar date. The 24th of October 2013, Tigray fighters attacked ENDF bases. That is why ENDF sacrifices will be commemorated in programs. Government is asking the people to attend these programs. In the US as well, some protest rallies are being planned for the 3rd of November. Some fundraising activities planned as well. Funds will be raised for Ethiopian National Defense. So I think the 3rd of November we could see massive rallies in and out Ethiopia. Ethiopian government will use this day to send a message to international community that it was TPLF which started this war, and it was a war on Ethiopian Federal Army. So we could see programs organized by government in Ethiopia, outside Ethiopia as well. Update you in coming days about We Will Never Forget Day. Thank you for watching.